Panzanella, and it is a wonderful way to use up leftover homemade bread or store-bought bread. This is not the sort of thing that you should use crappy white bread for. You want something that's got a really good texture and a firm crust.
Decent crumb.
A decent crumb. You know, I'm going to need a bigger bowl. I thought that bowl would be sufficient, but hey. Take two. They're small. And yeah, on some levels, it doesn't matter what way you cut these up in, and this is also something that you would never, ever, ever want to make during the middle of the winter, unless you lived somewhere where there was really good vegetables. Because this, even though you're using leftover bread, this is really made by the perfection, if you will, of the uber ripe summer vegetables.
So what all you got going into here?
Well, I had a leftover baguette, and I put in some red onion, and it's traditionally red onion, cucumber, red, colored bell pepper, and tomato, and then whatever else you might want to put into it. And obviously, you could do things like you could put it in. You want to use great cucumbers. You don't want to use those nasty store-bought ones that are waxed and that are really mature and have huge seeds. You don't have to bother to peel these unless
you're deseeding them.
I'm deseeding them. If these were a little bit smaller, I probably wouldn't even bother to deseed them. And you just put all these puppies together, and I have to admit that I always start with my bread, so that the bread is at the bottom and it starts to soak up all of the yummy juices that go into this little thing. So I had a half a cucumber left. Your proportions really aren't all that important. Whatever you've got, this is about leftovers and how to use them, and how to use these wonderful, wonderful peppers and tomatoes. And I wouldn't use a green pepper because they're just not sweet enough. If you didn't have a good ripe red or yellow or orange pepper, I would maybe use some jarred roasted pepper, and that would be awesome too. Simplicity is the key here. What you really want is to feature the wonderful flavor of summer, of the vegetables.
So this is basically a raid on the farm stand.
Raid on the farm stand, the garden if you're lucky enough to have your own, and yeah. I'm going to start with a tomato and a half. This is really your prime ingredient, your two major ingredients that you really, really, really need.
Nice tomato.
Oh yeah. Are your tomatoes, and these are local Maryland tomatoes coming from the farm stand that we've been going to. I can't pronounce their name. It starts with a Z, but I could look it up and let you guys know. And I could be cutting these in my hand, which is not a very safe thing to do, but I would be capturing all the juice. The only thing that I don't have that I wish I did have, and I forgot to go looking for it, was some fresh basil. That would make this over the top. You could put cheese in this if you wanted to. You could put olives in it if you wanted to after you get the tomato cut up. And you really need a really good sharp knife. If you don't have one, get one. Wipe this counter off. And now the only other thing I've got to do, add some salt and pepper, some dried basil since I don't have any fresh, and a bunch of olive oil. and a touch of balsamic vinegar.
And that is olive oil and not Heineken.
Yes, it is. That is.
Okay, we use the bottle.
Yeah, what can I say? Would you give me the salt and pepper, please?
I will. I'm going to traipse over here to the table. Salt,
Yeah.
fresh ground pepper.
We grind our own pepper. I use sea salt for anything that I'm not cooking. Salt is salt. There's the same amount of salt in anything, but sea salt and some of the mineral salts have a more interesting flavor. So what you want to do now is you stir this all up, and no, I really can't tell you what the proportions are, but what you want to have happen from the very beginning is you want to make sure that all of your bread is thoroughly coated with juices and oils. And then normally you would make this a couple of hours before you ate it. We went out and ran some errands today, so we'll probably be eating this before that happens.
So this just kind of melds together.
This melds together. It sits out at room temperature. You don't have to worry about it. Obviously, you wouldn't let it do that for more than a couple of hours because you don't want to invite bad bacteria into your life.
Just as a food safe note, 4 is about the limit, 4
Yes,
hours.
that would be correct. And then, of course, you would do a handy-dandy taste
Thank you.
for seasoning. You can add a little hot pepper.
Boy, those are good tomatoes.
All right. There you go. Panzanella. Signing off.
Enjoy.
Mm-hmm.